Alright, welcome to another edition of What the Fuck, happenings YouTube atheist community and stickam fun. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's recording. Anyway, yeah. So, it's not stickam, right? Yes, tiny chat. And it broke, I don't know, around 5 or 6 in the morning, whatever. And, so yeah, I gave up. So, I'm just not doing all that well anyway, physically, so I was just kind of tired and said the hell with it. So I don't know if it reorganized or not, and sorry for that, but yeah, I'm just sort of sick of the conversation anyway. It is sort of same old, same old, same old, and I do want to do something more than the same old, same old. So yeah, so whatever, I got to work on that. Yeah, and I just don't have too much patience for the same arguments over and over again. It's like you just end up repeating yourself and repeating yourself and repeating yourself. And it's like you're tutoring every individual person. And, yeah, that's not going to work. So, some of this has to be converted into some other kind of message. Some other kind of different method of compiling the argument, presenting the argument, making the argument. All of that has to be done in some better way than this. Well, whatever. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of choices, so I got to fight through this medium that exists, and just got to do it better. So what else is news? I guess I might as well just bring up the Brett Keane thing. He was in the room, and he was made a couple of videos, just the same old bullshit. Brett Keane is Brett Keane. It's just kind of funny because the MP3s, the link will be below to the MP3, so you can listen to it yourself. But it's like there's a whole conversation about sincerity, and he just obviously doesn't know what that word means, and. There's just no point. I mean, there is no point in conversing with him. He just doesn't understand the concept at all. He is just a selfish glutton. He's exactly what he looks like, the human pig, in every metaphorical and even explicit sense. He's got it written all over him, the stench of it. And, yeah, that's all you need to say about that. So yeah, I'm. Hopefully he will do what he does usually. I mean, he goes through this. This is the same show. He's done like 3 times now with me. This herky jerky, try to be my friend. Then pick a fight for no good reason, just for the theater of it, I suppose. But yeah, I'm not biting. I sort of made that clear last night, so I just don't see the point in it. But whatever, it really just doesn't matter. He's not relevant. He's sort of wasted or squandered whatever credibility he ever had, and I don't think he'll ever be relevant again. But so it doesn't matter. Yeah, so there was a couple other people that the conversation is okay, and it just gets to these walls where you just can't get past the wall. There's certain premises that have to be accepted for the sake of argument, and if you're going to have to argue those, again, it's who wants to spend their whole life arguing the premises? It's the conclusions that are important, and it's the context of this natural backdrop for this whole thing. I mean, people keep wanting to talk about things as if there is some sort of real progressive mechanism here, that there is some place you're actually going to go, besides just coming up with some other pill to take, some other method to achieve some sort of sense of satisfaction that can only be derived by putting you in a state that is dissatisfactory to start with. You have to create the upside potential, and the only way to create the upside potential is to put something in a downside state. And that's just, I don't think there's any way to logically walk away or run away from that reality. And obviously the DNA molecule is very good at motivating organisms to fight for something stupid, to pursue stupid pursuits, to play the game. And we're just, obviously, we're smart enough to see the game and to realize we're being gamed. And so it's that simple. We can see the game board. We can see the mechanism. We can see that there's the scoring goals means absolutely nothing. There's absolutely nothing to be accomplished here. The only way you're going to get your gratification is probably out of somebody else's pound of flesh kind of thing. You're only usually going to feel good about yourself because somebody else is in some worse state. It's always going to be some sort of silly relative comparison. You're always going to do this Joneses, keeping up with the Joneses kind of bullshit. You're always going to measure how you're doing based on how others are doing. Arbitrary, erroneous, nonsensical definitions of I'm doing okay, relative to the pack. And people are just owned by, I mean, to me, this is like, these are all philosophical and psychological issues that, yes, the average human being isn't going to go anywhere near this stuff. But if you're going to have an argument with people who claim to be informed and intellectual and philosophical and all this stuff, these are concepts they should already be pretty versed in, they should certainly be capable of understanding that there is this mechanism of our biology and our psychology that is not controlled intelligently, and that there's this simple argument I've been making is that your brain was created because it was a tool, a weapon in a war. It was like a sword, and now there's the other edge to that sword is cutting biology to pieces. It's cutting the DNA molecule to pieces. The back end of that sword that it created of intelligence, the whiplash of intelligence, is the fact that intelligence can look at the game, look at the apes, look at the morons playing it, and find it obnoxiously stupid, can critique it to pieces, can see the grotesque inefficiency, this whole idea that you're somehow going to win by destroying things of equal value to yourself. There's no way to do that. It's nonsensical. And that there's something intelligence can make out of it. They keep talking as if we're going to learn some new fact out in the world. That there's some fact out here floating around, like there's a stick on a string there. Maybe that's the cure for all our problems, stick on a string. I tend to doubt it. I tend to doubt that there's no prospects out there. You're not going to find a truth in the cosmos or out here or in the ground. You can dig into the planet Earth forever, and there's not going to be some fact there that's going to make this game make sense. It's going to be a replicating molecule, billions of years of evolution to tool modify organisms to fight in a silly fight for a pointless, idiotic victory, to climb a hill of nonsense and declare yourself victor, and then you get struck by lightning and die. Or in some other manner, you're thrown off the top of the hill so somebody else can hold up their sword and say, I win for 5 minutes. And that's all there is. And it's stupid. Yeah, it certainly shouldn't be subsidized. You certainly shouldn't be putting your money in the machine to make more of it. You should be thinking and caring about maybe trying to wind it down. Stop winding this clock, because it ticks in blood and horror, if you look at it, if you're fair, and you're not going to be able to make something out of it. It's not going to turn into some sort of pretty thing. It's not its nature. It's not within its potentiality, because unlike us, we live in a world where we can solve a problem. There's problem all around us. There's things in trouble. There's things that need all around us, so we can resolve need. But our existence itself, the existence of this biological mass on this planet, can't serve any need, can't satisfy any need. It can't function. It can't do a positive thing until you make the negative thing. mean, these are fundamental arguments that there has been no utterance, no sound, no word that can undo the truth of it. That there's no need to be served by our existence. It can't be productive because there's no destructive to fix. You can only be productive if you're fixing something that's intrinsically broken, or fundamentally wrong, or fundamentally flawed. So you have to make the frickin' imperfection first to even have the pretense of achieving your perfection. Well, anyway, I'm just saying this logical quandary of the futility of this pursuit of a better game is just stupid. There's no there's certainly you can make the game less horrible. Certainly you can improve on the bad game we're playing. But there is no good game to play. There's no present you can manufacture. This is an argument I made in the chat room last night. If it was your job to make a gift for the universe, what would you give it? A headache and then give it an aspirin? I mean, there's no way you can give it something because it doesn't need anything. It doesn't need to be fixed. It's not broken until you show up, shithead. And Brett Keane is the consummate example of that. He's just a walking fucking sack of radioactive bile and putrid stench. You know, just this leaking bag of crap. You know, that probably has done nothing in its existence but make messes, leave a trail of shit stain behind it wherever it goes, leave a scum and a crud that somebody else is going to have to come by with Windex to clean up. Yeah, just, you know, just amazing. But they'll talk about their rights and their pursuit of their happiness. Sheesh. So anyway, enough. Yeah, I don't know. I turned it into a video. Didn't really mean to do that. Saul Coughlin made a video from a shed. That was kind of neat. Almost looked like my house, actually. So, yeah. What else? My Misery and Me guy is still fighting with the idea of the I. And to me, it's not so much coming up with this idea of saying the I exists, like this I thing. Because there's two ways to look at this I word. There's the way where you think about your brain as being a person, the little man inside your head kind of problem. That your brain creates you. So you're not a you inside your brain kind of reality. You're a function of your brain, and so that distinction is sort of important. It's sort of important to understand that it's a byproduct of the function of your brain, that you have this sense of a you, an individuality, and that sense is probably illusionary. It's manufactured inside of the brain itself. But the idea of qualifying the fact that the hardware does exist, that the machine does exist, that it does produce the magnetic field, the flux, the thing that we do end up calling us for practical purposes, is perfectly legitimate. And so there's this weird subtlety to coming up with a perfect language that's very hard to do. It sort of relates to Greatex made a video pointing out that some British guy had gotten thrown in jail for 5 years for making whatever terrorist videos on YouTube. And you know, it's kind of a weird problem because, you know, part of me would say, yeah, people should be allowed to speak their mind. They should be even allowed to be pro the people we might be in war with. But yeah, should they be allowed to show people how to make a bomb? Should they be, how far should that go? And certainly how big should the penalty be is a whole nother question. I mean, 5 years in jail is preposterous for posting some YouTube videos. But yeah, so you do have lines that are a little bit, they get a little fuzzy. It's a little hard to establish those lines and what exactly, where your freedom to opine ends and where your freedom to, organize overtly and publicly an attempt to assassinate the president or something. I mean, part of me says, yeah, that people should be allowed to do all this stuff, publicly. But part of me says, yeah, there's got to be a practical line to draw somewhere. And propaganda does work, so that's the other danger of it. You can't, there's no arguments against that. I mean, it does work. It does influence people. It does incite. You can incite violence with words and with messages. So I guess there has to be some kind of line. But, yeah, I don't know. So like I said, I sort of understood, there is a fair argument to be made that the society has to be careful because we do have these examples of idiots who shoot up schools and do all this other wacky crap. So there has to be some willingness to side on caution when it comes to any accusation that somebody's threatening or somebody's doing something. So I can't deny them their right to be a little paranoid. But I certainly don't want to end up in jail for 5 years because I voiced an honest opinion. That's not good. So I didn't know about this guy either, so that's part of the reason why, he says nobody talks about it. Well, I didn't know about it. So, but it is a hard case to know what to say. I mean, he's a lawyer. He should have really known better. I mean, it really was pushing it. And, but 5 years is, that's just nonsense. Especially when he's made his apology. You've extorted an apology out of him. That almost should be enough. But, then you get into all this political crap and the whole idea of creating this outrageous penalty to really silence people. And that's part of what it is, too. You can sort of just smell it, that's the intent, is to shut people up. And that's no good. But, I don't know. So anyway, I guess what I was trying to say, somehow this related to something else. I was trying to make a point that there's this subtle wordplay. I guess it's this whole idea of the me. I mean, it's quite obvious. I am a person. I am a thing, an entity, an individual. And there's just no way to undo that truth. I'm a container of Inmendham, or whatever you want to call it. I have these programs running. They're unique to my, entity, the thing that is me. And if I have no problem. I don't mind if we can maybe try to migrate our language into more explicit description. And instead of saying I think, I should say my brain says, or my brain has produced as a response to that. This is what it produced. It produces this sentence. This is what my brain is saying. But and just acknowledging that it's a brain, a programmed brain. My life experience, convoluted through my mental processing and my psychological sensing has produced this statement as response to your statement. And conversation gets really preposterously long when you do that. But it wouldn't hurt once in a while just to keep this on the record that my brain is producing me. I'm not. There's no I in here producing me. My brain is producing this thing you're calling that guy in Inmendham. But they take it way too far. Because once they reduce you to a brain, then they try to reduce you to a stick or a ball of mud. And I'm not a stick. I'm not a ball of mud. I am, you might not like me. I might be obnoxious. But, I'm not a ball of mud, and I'm not a stick. There's something more happening here than stickery. See, not doing anything terribly interesting. It's got roots growing out of it. Where's Ivy? Anyway, so is there anything else? Probably is, but who cares? So anyway, more of the same coming, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to keep trying to do the Vlogger Dome videos. I mean, I think this was sort of an interesting side, you know, pile of videos. And the bunch before this, whatever there was something I was arguing with or someone somewhere. Oh yeah, anti-bullshit man. Those were sort of interesting conversation. So I might pursue more of that, you know, in terms of the value thing again, and understanding this mechanism of desire. This is a really important one. You know, how much desire owns us, how much it perverts perception and forces us, obliges us, impels us, compels us to see values that aren't rationally understood but are subjectively felt. And so we're back to the feeling machine again, because we feel the compulsion, we feel like we need to do it, we feel like it needs to be attained. We sense it, and that's what we are. Consciousness is a sensor. It's sensing, and some of what it's sensing is a creation of it creates the sensation, and one of these sensations it creates is this sense that I need not to be here, but I need to be over there, and I'll feel it, as if I'll sense this need to have whatever, the potato chips or whatever I'm hungry for. And that's that's the biggest obstacle to a fair intellectual conversation, is the fact that people are, you know, really running on that desire mechanism, and it really owns you when it's running hard. When you're fully flooded by a perception of your need to accomplish, your need to have, it gets really hard to have rational conversation in that atmosphere, because you're compelled by an irrational force, not a rational one. Okay, now it's enough. And such. Oh, I'm going to take some video of flowers and something. I don't know. Is there anything around here to video? It's all pretty bleak still. But man, winter is gone. Start to be outside, do things and such and whatnot. It'll be windy and that's not good. So anyway, till next time.